It's Jefferson, climbs the ladder. Oh my goodness! Come on!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Round 2 Showdown show here for the BMW Championship. More scoring than we've seen on this course for sure through this first round. 22 guys under par is more than doubled how many guys finished under par the last two events held at this golf course. I got my guy Drew with me. What's going on? How's your teams looking going into round 2, I guess, tomorrow? What was your initial thoughts on the course? A lot more people shot way better scores than I thought they were going to today, especially with what the weather looked like to be.
Yeah, I didn't really see a huge deal with the wind, to be honest. I watched some of the coverage, and they even commented on guys struggling to judge their distances, but I didn't see much of that. It seemed like pretty good conditions, and obviously with the softer conditions, guys were able to score pretty well. Hopefully it firms up from here, man. I was really hoping for, this type of winning score, and McIlroy and Harmon already at 5 under par sets it up to get to 10 under par easily. So, I'm hoping for a little bit firmer. Tee to green, it was soft. So you think that would have made the rough tougher, but guys were, landing in the fairway and getting like a foot of roll. I saw a couple of drives like that from Rory, but it didn't really seem like the rough caused a ton of issues. A lot of guys were able to at least advance it up to the front of the green and get up and down. So, yeah, definitely not what I was expecting, but we can take that with kind of what we learned and move forward into Showdown for tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. We kind of hit on a little bit pre-show. The heroics that Rory played out there on 17 just hits a wild shot. I mean, we both talked about not even trying to go for that same path line that he did there. What's your thoughts on hole 17 by Rory hitting that little cutter through the freaking small gap and then chipping in for birdie? Like you said pre-show, should have been a 5, ends up with a 3.
Yeah, he hit the low cut out of the rough, and looking at the angle, man, you take the rough and you think it's going to hood the club a little bit. A low shot's definitely coming out and likely going to hook, so why not hit the low hook? But yeah, he's obviously quite a bit better than both of us, and he chose the low fade out of 4-inch rough. Not in my bag. That shot is not in my bag. And I don't know if he got a good break or a bad break to run through the green. It was likely to run through wherever it hit, and then he chips in to kind of put a cherry on top of that shot. But yeah, pretty crazy. As bad. I wouldn't say he really drove it bad. Just he missed a lot of fairways. Like the drives I did see for the most part were really good. Just didn't hit enough fairways. So we see a comment already from who was that? Someone just dropped it in here. Antonio. Yeah, hit 3 fairways and shot 5 under. Yeah, he did. I had him at 21% fairways. So by far the worst in the field, and just played lights out. He almost regrets from like the last couple of years, just in this round alone. Chips in one time. Makes a couple extra putts, gained just over a stroke putting. So, yeah. And someone mentioned it in chat. I think I saw it on Twitter. He still gained strokes off the tee, even though he basically hit no fairways. That's just the math behind the distance. When you're hitting it, 330 off the tee, you're going to do pretty well. So, yeah, we'll see if that 21. Hitting 3 fairways does not bode well for me. To think he continues this steam the next couple of days. So I think he definitely needs to hit some more fairways. Obviously, he's playing great. He was able to get out of some bad spots. But, yeah, on this golf course, I just feel like the penalty is missing fairways. And if he just can't continue to hit 3 fairways and contend in this golf tournament, he's got to fall back. So he's got to do better off the tee, I think. And we'll see how that does tomorrow and into the weekend.
I agree. We can transition into the top of the leaderboard then here, go down leaderboard style like we usually do. Interesting there with Rory there. He did hit 5 drives that were in that 335 to 345 range, so he's definitely nuking it off the tee. I do expect some regression coming from him tomorrow. I think he'll be a fairly easy fade for me actually tomorrow. I guess you could see it both ways. if he hits more fairways, maybe he shoots even better tomorrow. But I think I'm going to actually be off of him and go down for a little cheaper pricing with the other guys in that top tier range.
Yeah, you could. I mean, honestly, I'm going to do the same thing. But just for sake of argument, you could certainly argue that if Rory hits a few more fairways, he's going to shoot 5 under as a floor number with this golf course right now. I mean, you're going to get 340 off the tee in a few more fairways. I mean, the difference, like, I'm not going to play any Harman either. And Harman really had a good round with his approach play. But I mean, his driver is such a lack of a weapon, whatever, anti-weapon, compared to what Rory is. He was averaging 192 yards on his approaches versus Rory averaging 176. Like, you just can't compare. Like, there's no way if you're going to give up 20 yards to Rory and you're already short with your irons, you're not going to be able to contend against Rory, especially if he starts hitting a few more fairways. So I can see the argument that Rory potentially, shoots 5 under just hitting 3 more fairways. But I'm with you. I'm going to fade Brian Harman and Rory McIlroy with you. They played great, but there's plenty of good players in this field and certainly cheaper options that we can target for round 2. And I assume Rory gets some ownership just off people assuming everything is handy dandy with Rory McIlroy's game, shooting 5 under, acting like he played bad, but basically.
Yeah, I think it's been 5 or 6 times this year, and many previous times where Rory will start out hot like this, and he always kind of goes stagnant on that round 2. He's definitely, even like last week in round 4, he just has so much trouble, it seems, putting the pedal to the floor and just kind of taking off there. I think that could come into play too. I just looking through his box score here. There's a few 5 or 6 times he shot worse the second day, so I'm going to also put that into my fade as well. I'm going to be off of Brian Harman as well tomorrow. I'm not going to go there. 7-9, that's a little steep for him. I think there's some regression coming from him as well. He struggled off the tee too. Today he lost 1.4 strokes off the tee. He was strong with the short game though, but I'm probably going to be off of him as well. And then diving into this -4 range, I think there's about 6 guys here. Fitzpatrick was super, super hot with the putter today, gained over 3 strokes putting. Probably be off of him as well tomorrow. Sahith, I don't mind the price tag on Sahith. He's still $7K. I had him in my player pool this week as one of my cheapies in there too, as well as Chris Kirk, 6,200 for Chris Kirk. That's a good price tag. I'll probably still go back to him just for that near floor pricing there, especially in Showdown. And I think 6K is a min, so 6,200. I'll probably have some Kirky in my teams. He was good with the irons, good with the putter. Did struggle a little off the tee. Only hit, I guess he was all right, 8 of 14 fairways. But I like the approach game for him. He started off strong, kind of went stagnant in the middle of his round, finished strong. So I'm going to be on some Kirky for that upside. It's good to see Windham kind of battle back. He's kind of went downward since the U.S. Open when he kind of been struggling the last 3 or 4 events. He fired a good round in there. But I will be going to Scotty as one of my top tier spend ups tomorrow. I like Scotty at -4. He had a so-so day putting. Started out bad. He lost strokes on the front 9. The second 9, the back 9, he picked it up. Gained strokes putting on, I think, 4 or 5 straight holes, actually, where he made birdies on 11, 12, 13, and 15. So I'll be on some Scotty tomorrow. He hit the irons good today. Tee to green. No surprise from him today, like usual, like he's been doing throughout the year. What are you doing here? -4 range. Are you going to Matthew Fitzpatrick any or Ricky Flower?
No. I'm cool with Mr. Flower. But yeah, I think Scheffler's obviously a great spin up option. He's like he's in the same category as Rory off the tee. He actually hit more fairways, so let's just assume that continues. He's going to have shorter approaches in, and his proximity day was really good. So I think Scheffler, he had 8 shots inside of 20 feet, 6 shots inside of 15 feet, which was tied for first in the field. So, I like Scheffler as a spin-up option. He's one of the guys that, again, the 400 is like a floor for him on any course. So Scheffler's a spin-up. Fowler's playing good. I contemplated Fowler, and I watched his round today, and he's definitely in control at this moment. Like, I think he had a little bit of a dip 2 weeks ago, struggled a little bit last week. I think Ricky is playing some good golf. Hit 64% of fairways, not a big deal. He's definitely not one of the longer guys, so I'm not worried about him losing a little bit off the tee. But his irons are definitely elite when they're on, and he's definitely hitting his irons well. Even some of the shots he missed the green, they were good iron shots. He just misjudged the distance, whether that was wind or any other condition factor. So yeah, I do like Ricky, and he actually got a price decrease. He's down at 8,800 for tomorrow. There's a good group of guys in this range that I did not play for the full week slate. There's no way I'm going to chase. If they're just on it this week, then I'll fire them up for round 3. But Sahith and Fitzpatrick are 2 of those. Kirk, I'm kind of borderline. But yeah, I won't be going back to Wyndham Clark. I'll wait one more round to see if he actually is back to his good form. So yeah, for me, it's really just Scotty and Ricky in this range here.
Awesome. You love it. If you're just coming in, please hit the like, subscribe. Really helps bring these free shows to you guys. And you'll be notified when all the free shows come on. I mean, football season's coming up. We got a ton of stuff planned for that. So head on over and join the movement with us. And NFL 20 is the code now. The 23% is gone, but the 20% is here for a while. So don't miss out on the 20% if you miss out on the 23%, because this 20% promo won't be here long before we kick it down to 15% right before NFL starts, and then that'll be it for the promos. We've got a huge team, some new additions, everything is going upward here. So join the movement, NFL 20 for 20% off any package for the entirety of the subscription, all for your life if it lasts that long. But yeah, we can dive in.
You should put it in your will, pass it down to your kids. The value that will just last forever and ever.
Absolutely. I love it. Down here to -3. We can just go -3 to -2. Not too many guys here, -3. A few guys here. We got Cameron Young, Corey Connors, Colin Morikawa at -3. Then dipping down to -2, we got Spieth, M, Cantlay, Homa, Rahm, and then Harris English. I'm going to be on Morikawa some tomorrow. He didn't hit the driver the best today. He hit 10 fairways, I guess, but it was just barely gaining with the off the tee. The irons were a 0, which is rare for him, but the short game actually held him together today. Bogey free, 3 under round. Love to see it from Morikawa. The price tag is fine at $9,400. I think that's a good price tag for his upside. And then a guy that I know a lot of people in chat were super tilting about there for a while was Mr. Can't Play. He starts out just horrible. I think he was 2 over through 12 and then just turns it on down the stretch, makes 4 birdies coming in to finish at -2. I think he's a strong option to look at tomorrow. I was really high on Homa as well. He played well today, kind of left a little bit out there today, I think. Only made par on both par 5, so you definitely need to take advantage of those holes when you get those tomorrow. And then John Rahm was another guy that was kind of so going along, makes a late bogey, only pars the par 5 15th as well. So he kind of struggled a little bit coming in, lost strokes putting today, lost strokes approach. So I'm going to go back to Rahm too for another spend up at 11K. I do like Scheffler a little more than Rahm tomorrow. I was a little heavier on Rahm for the main slate than Scheffler. I actually played all 3 of the spend ups there, Rory, Rahm, and Scheffler, just because I wanted to try and find the winner. I thought all 3 of those had some of the most win equity in the field. Then you look at like a guy like Sung Jae Im, gains over 3 strokes putting, loses almost 3 strokes approach. That's a wild round from him. What are you seeing here? -3, -2. Anything really stick out to you? I know Spieth was on a heater early, gave a couple back late. What's your thoughts here? -3, -2 guys.
Yeah, Spieth's numbers look good, but I'm not going to fall for it just yet. Yeah, Rahm's an okay spend-up. I still prefer Scheffler, like you said. I think they both have probably the same upside, but I think the floor on Scheffler is a little bit safer. So if you have extra $500 to get to Scheffler, I would try to find it and play Scheffler in this spot for tomorrow. And I think someone mentioned in chat, it's just mainly because of the driving accuracy. Honestly, we joke about off the tee being such a big factor, but like eventually it's going to bite you. If you keep missing fairways, you're going to get into holes and you're going to start scrambling for pars, and you could just end up on a bogey streak pretty quickly on this golf course. assuming it firms up just a little bit. So yeah, I do prefer Scheffler over Rahm, but Rahm should definitely be considered in your player pool. He has just as much upside as both Scheffler and even McIlroy. Homa's on my 4K team this week, and I'm rooting for him. So I'm going to go back and try to give him some extra boost tomorrow. Like you said, he didn't play the par fives great. Overall, his ball striking looked good. He actually, I think he's number one in the field, tied for number one in the field inside of, he's second in the field inside of 10 feet. He had 4 approach shots inside of 10 feet, which is pretty good. He was pretty much average in every single other category, 6 shots inside of 20 feet. So across the board, pretty solid. Even though he lost a stroke approach, his proximities were still good. He hit a lot of fairways, drove it pretty well. Corey Connors is just too expensive. I think he's safe, but I don't think he has the ceiling to pay off his price tag. I would try to go somewhere else, but he does look good on paper, playing very solid, obviously. So he is safe in cash. I would probably consider him. But I think there's other spin ups to go to. The guys that I'm not going to play is Cameron Young and Morikawa. Cameron Young made a couple nice par putts to save his round. I think overall he played pretty good off the tee, but that's kind of been his game for the last 2 months, and his irons have been lacking, and that showed a little bit more today. So I'm not going to chase the Cameron Young round. I'm kind of rooting for Morikawa, but I'm gonna wait to see how he does tomorrow. He still doesn't look great. Even last week he had like 2 good rounds and 2 rough rounds. Yeah. So he looks like he's not quite settled yet. So for me, I really do like Homa, and that's really the spot that I want to target in this range. I think Harris English was a soldier for you. I'll wait a little bit on that one, and same with Sung Jae. But yeah, I would include Rahm, and I would consider Corey Connors if you had 8,800 or whatever his price is, 8,700. He's really a fine safety net, I guess. But yeah, Homa's my main target in this range. I think he's my favorite. To go low tomorrow. After where he's driving it on this type of golf course, it sets up so good for all the courses we talked about on Tuesday, Quail Hollow, Riviera, etc. So yeah, Homa's my guy in this range. And even though there's studs like Cantley, I think there's just better studs at this point.
Yeah, for sure. Just kind of diving into this a little bit as we go down with such a smaller field here. I'm kind of almost leaning on more of a couple, 2 or 3 9K guys tomorrow. What's your thoughts on that? Just kind of bypassing the top studs and just trying to get as much birdie equity as you can from the mid-range of these guys, because some of the guys at the bottom are at the bottom for a reason. And if you want some of those studs,
in Showdown, I'm not too worried about it. Full week is a little bit different. Like this week, for my main team was I played 4 guys over 9K. I faded McIlroy, which isn't working out currently. But I played 4 guys over 9K because I thought it still had the best chance of catching a winner. Oh, yeah. And then I only played 2 guys right around the low 6Ks, as opposed to playing a 5K and 2 6Ks with 2 studs. Showdown's a little bit different. I don't really mind paying, to play Scheffler and 2 other 9K guys and punting off 2 spots down low, because they can still shoot, even par with 4 or 5 birdies. Yeah, does pretty well with Showdown. So I don't need them to play consistently for 4 rounds. I'm just trying to get a couple of those guys correct for a hot round and complement the studs that I want to play that do shoot 5 or 6 under or 4 under, whatever the conditions lay out for tomorrow. I'm a little bit more, I guess, aggressive playing the more studs in a single lineup than I would on a 4-day slate.
I got you. That's awesome. Diving into it, we can just hit on these 5 guys quick, -1 guys here. JT Poston was the guy that started out super hot. birdie. Everybody was saying he's going to win. And then comes back to reality there. Birdie, bogey, double, birdie. So a wild opening, 35 for him. Shoots even par. Shoots 1 under on the back 9. I think he's fine if you want to go there. Lots of stroke putting. Gained with the approach, though, so I think he's fine. Russell Henley had a horrible last 10 holes today. I mean, he was buzzing along. They're superly good. He was hitting some good iron shots, and then everything, the wheels fell off there. Ends up making 3 bogeys coming in. Not sure if I'll go back to Henley or not. I played him on the main slate. 8K, I think he got a little bit of a price decrease for round 2. I think he was 8,200 maybe for the main slate. And Victor Hovland was a guy I was very heavy on. Shoots 3 under on the front 9 and then just doesn't do anything on the back 9. makes par on the par 5, makes 2 other bogeys, shoots 2 over on the back 9. He lost over 2 strokes putting on the back 9 after gaining 2 strokes on the front 9. So hopefully Hovland can turn it around. I'm going to pull up his price tag. 10-1, that's a fair price tag for him. He's one of those guys, like if I wanted to start with like a Hovland, Morikawa, Homa team, I think that's definitely got a lot of validity to it tomorrow. What's your thoughts here, -1 guys?
It's a big difference off of, playing Hovland over Rory. That's a $2,000 difference in salary that definitely can balance out your lineup, and you still play a pretty, and arguably a pretty strong stud. So, yeah, I don't mind that. Again, you try to play, at least in round 2, you're really still targeting guys that you like for the full week. And definitely Hovland was a guy that fit this golf course pretty well. There's a few in this range that are just, shoot 1 under is good. Like Jason Day, he just did it in ugly ways. Henley shot 1 under, in a good way and just finished rough. So I don't mind going back to Henley. He's just expensive for me. Poston, I think the start, we talked about that on Tuesday too. Like the way to get under par here is you play the first 4 holes well, which he did. And then from there, you just kind of hold on. Yeah. He didn't do a great job holding on. So yeah, and then in the 1 under range, Denny's actually really intriguing for Showdown. I think people are going to wait and see on him. And he's one of the few that's still pretty cheap. And after his good, summer overall, June and July, I think he has a good bit of upside that's going to be overlooked a little bit for round 2. But yeah, I think Victor Hovland should be, if you're not playing one of the studs as far as Scheffler, we're kind of off of Rory being at 5 under par and how he played today, or playing Rahm we talked about. I think Victor should be in play. But yeah, Denny is actually a really interesting target, I think, for tomorrow. He's one of the few that just, again, if he gets hot with the putter, his ball striking looks like it kind of returned a little bit to what it was in July. And like I said, I didn't play him on the full week slate. I want to have some exposure to Denny McCarthy if this was a Denny McCarthy week.
Yeah, for sure. I've kind of swore him off the last few weeks, but maybe I can jump back on here. Looking in, what's his price tag? He's got a fine price, $6,700. That's what I'm
saying. Like, yeah, his fall from grace was what? He was 10K at Barbasol or whatever tournament it was, John Deere Classic, and then he was 8K chalk and kept falling down, and now he's 6,700. And just for Showdown, like I said, I didn't play him for the full week slate. I didn't see it in him, but if he showed me a little bit today, his irons were decent. Still doesn't drive it very straight, which is a problem, obviously. But yeah, I think he still left a good bit out there with how he was hitting his irons. So he only made 50 feet of putts, which is unlike Denny McCarthy. So just turn that around, please. So yeah, 6,700. I think he's actually a good value punt that could shoot 4 or 5 under and be a shipper.
Yeah, I think you just talked me into some Denny McPutts for tomorrow. So in there, going down to the even par range, we got some interesting guys down here. Back to reality almost for at least with the short game for Lucas Glover. He lost over 3 strokes with the short game today. He shoots even par, 3 birdies, 3 bogeys. Still hit the irons great today. Almost gained 3 strokes with the approach there. Justin Rose was another guy that was kind of up and down today. Kind of got hot there on the back 9 before giving away one on the final hole, but it was playing well there, 10 through 15. He made 3 birdies after making 3 bogeys on the front 9. Ends up carding an even par 70. I think he's right there in play for tomorrow as well. 7,500. Good price tag for Justin Rose. Tommy Fleetwood's the guy I'll be going back to tomorrow. He just didn't really do much today. Didn't do anything on the par 5s. Made par on both of them. I'll go back to him. 3 birdies, 3 bogeys for him today. Didn't really do anything. Was basically a 0 across the board on the stats-wise. And Terrell Hatton was the guy I was going to play a lot of. I ended up kind of just fielding him towards the week for the main slate. I think he's fine for tomorrow as well. He's a good price at 9,100. That's a guy I'll put in like a mid-tier build or something with. You start with like Hovland, Homa, Hatton, Morikawa or something like that. I think that's definitely got a lot of validity there. Throw like Chris Kirk in there too for 6'2". Then you got a decent amount of salary to still spend. What are you seeing here? Minus, we got Benny on here too. He was up and down. He makes par on both par 5s as well. Just had a horrible day with the short game. Almost lost 2 strokes with the short game today. Hit the irons bad for him, which was a 0 today. But I think he's the guy that can bounce back at 7,700 tomorrow. He'll be in the pool. What are you seeing here? Minus or even par?
And I bet people are a little bit more hesitant to play Binion after today's round versus the full week slate. Yeah, two of the guys that are on my main 4K team is Hatton and Fleetwood. Those are two guys I thought could contend for a top 10 or a top 5. I'm going to go right back to them. Today's round was ugly. They shot even par, so they're still in it. But yeah, statistically, there's nothing I can really point to that says they're setting up great for tomorrow. It's really just looking back the last couple weeks or months to say Hatton and Fleetwood have been playing so well. Again, I liked them for the full week. I liked them on this golf course. Fleetwood has a good finish here in the past. I think that's a good bounce back spot for both of them. So yeah, Hatton and Fleetwood. Glover. I think Glover's round was really interesting. His price, I think, is $1,000 too high. I looked at his ownership, and in a lot of contests, he was sub 5%. And typically with DraftKings, they would price them down so much further off of their original price, assuming they're not like a 6K guy. But they would take him from 9K down to 8,200 and see if they can get his ownership back up to like 12%. At 9K, I don't think people are able to click his name with the guys around him. But I will tell you, man, his round with his irons was unreal. So he lost about 3 strokes, almost 3 strokes putting, gained 3 strokes on approach. But like breaking it down by buckets, he had 7 shots inside of 15 feet, 5 shots inside of 10 feet. Oh, wow. A lot of this was on the back nine. Like I think he had like 3 or 4 holes in a row that he was inside of 10 feet for birdie. And again, on this golf course, especially on the back nine, that's pretty impressive. So I'm going to have a sprinkle of Glover, see if he can continue with the magic beans. Like I said, he lost almost 3 strokes putting. I'm not going to say he's going to regress and gain 2 strokes putting tomorrow. But with his approaches and his irons have been continuing to be pretty good. Honestly, today's round was better than last week on a lot of rounds for his irons. I think Glover's in for a really low owned spot. I don't know if he nukes it, but if he shoots 4 under, I'll be pretty happy, especially if he's going to be like 6%. And that's probably it. I'm fine with Binion. I'm gonna wait on Rose, and then Svensson. I don't know. I saw him kind of hanging around even par and 1 under or 1 over for most of the day. I don't think he has the low one in him on this golf course, so I'll fade.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I like that call on Svensson to be off of him as well. Getting into this +1 range, quite a few guys here, about 10 guys here at +1. Todd, Straka, Xander. I didn't play many of these guys, as I didn't play Hideki, Hoagie, Burns. Burns made a couple birdies late after he played a hole 6 through 9 at 4 over on those 3 holes. Rough stretch there. Siwoo didn't really do much. Made a late birdie though, so he's got some good mojo coming over. And then Keegan was doing what Keegan does. I mean, he's up and down, 3 birdies, 4 bogeys. Didn't really do too much there, especially on that stretch from 3 through 10. He played that at 3 over, so he actually played all right. Patrick Rogers, the popular 5.
Dude, he was the highest owned in the 4K. I think he was 33% owned or something.
I think our guy
so crazy.
Cam sent me a screenshot, texted me his exposure to whatever. He's got like $120,000 riding on Patrick Rogers this week, so hopefully he can turn it around for him. I think he's what's his price tag for tomorrow?
It's got to still be 5K something.
It's 6K, which I guess they got the minimum at 6K for tomorrow.
He's so high owned, they bumped him up $500.
Like, we can't do this again.
Exactly. I mean, the cheaper guy down here that I like is Nick Taylor.
Yeah, there you go.
I really gravitated towards him this morning, to be honest, as lineups kept getting pushed back another hour. And I looked at him from last week, and driving accuracy for him is always one of the best skill sets he has. And when his irons are good, that's usually when he does most of his damage during the season. So I looked at last week, and his irons looked really good. He's hitting a lot of fairways, and I see a little bit more of that today. Like, he didn't hit as many fairways as he did last week, but he hit a lot of good approaches. He had 6 shots inside of 20 feet. He hung around 1 under par and even par for most of the day, and then he kind of gave it. I think he got to 2 under at one point on the front 9, and obviously gave those back and finished at 1 under. So I do like Nick Taylor at 6,200. Again, to go to the point of Denny McCarthy at 6,700, the upside for Denny just seems so much greater. But yeah, I'll have some exposure to Nick Taylor at 6,200. Siwoo, I'll play some Siwoo. I'll play some Hideki as well. Off the tee, I think he lost a little over a stroke. And approach play was really not great, but I just have high hopes for Hideki to turn it around this week and into next week.
He was 4 under through 7, and then the wheels came off with that double bogey on hole 9 there.
Yeah, I mean, overall though he wasn't like ceiling round Hideki. Yeah. I think he was at his ceiling. I think at 4 under par, and then gave it back, obviously. So I do like Hideki to kind of turn it around from what he finished out today. Keegan is fine. I won't play any Sepp, and I won't play any Xander. I just can't get to him. The same thing with Sam Burns. So, yeah, Keegan, Hideki, Siwoo, Nick Taylor for me.
Awesome. Yeah, getting into this bottom range then, +2 through +6. We can get through the remaining about 10, 15 guys here. Hadwin's down here, Shank's down here, Cole's down here. I was heavier on Cole as a value play. He was like 6,300, I believe. And then one of my soldiers is down here, Cameron Davis, who was actually playing fine. He was 1 under through 14 holes. Bogeys the par 5, and then finishes with a freaking triple bogey. I mean, that was just an absolutely horrible.
His approach buckets look good. Yeah, I mean, he would be a nice bounce back for tomorrow. Yeah, he's one of the best across the board for me, man. Like inside of 10 feet, he had 3 shots, like elite 3 shots inside of 10 feet for approaches. He had 5 birdie looks inside of 15 feet, 6 inside of 20 feet, like all day. I mean, you have 6 shots inside of 20 feet all day. You're looking pretty good. Just don't make triples. That's probably the moral of the story.
Yeah, he was leading the field in strokes gained approach until hole 18, it looks like. But yeah, I think he can bounce back though. It's only 1 round. You get 4 rounds here. If he comes out and shoots 3 under tomorrow, 2 under the next day, and 4 under the final day, I mean, he'll be right there, and people will be saying, "Oh, where'd he come from?"
Well, I mean, tomorrow's the day to play him. You don't wait till Saturday. Yeah, play him tomorrow, because if he gets it back tomorrow, you can't play him on Saturday because then everyone's going to chase it on Saturday. So, tomorrow's the day to play Cam Davis if you want some extra exposure.
I love it. And then the guys below it, Lee Hodges down here, Tony Finau. Something's wrong with Tony. He's just broken. Didn't even make a single birdie today. Lost strokes across the board, too. I don't even know if he had any shots that were positive. He had 3 iron shots that were positive, it looks like. Just a rough scene for Tony Finau. Seamus Power and Kitayama are down here as well. Anything you see down here that you're going to go to? I'm just going to mainly be on Cameron Davis down here, I think.
Yeah, I do like the Cam Davis call as a nice bounce back spot. I think Hadwin's a decent value. He's 6,600 for tomorrow. Not worried about him losing a little bit on approach. I looked through his buckets, and they're all pretty good. I think he averaged about 31 feet for proximity, something like that. So Hadwin, again, is pretty cheap for being – when he's playing well, he could actually go low and shoot 6 under par on this golf course. So Hadwin, like you said, Cam Davis, and that's really it for me. Like, I don't want to say I'm happy that I see Kitayama down there. He actually played decent. A lot of his proximities look good. So I wouldn't hate, a Kitayama punt in a couple lineups for tomorrow. But, like, we fully expected to see, the cheap guys down here. Lee Hodges down here, Seamus Power, Eric Cole ended up down here. So just pricing ended up pretty good. All the cheap 6K guys and some 5K guys ended up in actually, there's no 5K guys for tomorrow. But, yeah, all the cheap 6K guys ended up at the bottom of the board for tomorrow. So, yeah, Cam Davis actually I think is in an elite spot for a showdown play tomorrow. But, like, the more I think about it, it's just you play him tomorrow. If it doesn't work out, that's fine. You can double down on Saturday if you want or just quit. But if he bounces back after 1 round tomorrow and shoots 4 or 5, 6 under par, you missed it. You're not going to get that opportunity again.
Yeah, for sure. If you haven't already, please hit the like, subscribe. It really helps bring these shows to you guys free of charge. You'll be notified when we go live for all of our upcoming shows as well. 20% off NFL 20. Get you 20% off every package for your life. Join the movement with us. Big things coming ahead. We can kind of transition into our core plays in, and I think our first guy may be Cameron Davis that we might both agree on. What do you think about that at 7,800?
Yeah, I'm good with that. Yeah, like I said, I think it's just Yeah, not going off of today's round. He actually played really well, but he's got one of the lowest rounds, and people are going to just avoid him from today's finish. So I like that quite a bit.
Max Homa, we both kind of liked him tomorrow too, don't we? He can be our second collective play there. So we got Cam Davis, Max Homa, and then you can go and give your guy, then I'll clean her up.
Let's see, what was that? 7,800 and 9K. Let's try to get like a mid-price guy. I'm not sure if I can, to be honest. For a core play, we might have to double down for 4 spots here, Schneider. We might have to just pass it around.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the build should start like from a core build. Like I'm cool with Cam Davis and Homa, but there's got to be a way to get to Scheffler. I think Scheffler's the key, and then we got to find a value guy that we can land on for the cheap guy. So I think we should do 4 tonight together. I'll go with your 4th guy if you have a guy on the top of your head. But for me, I think it's got to revolve around Scheffler, and obviously you'd have to get a value somewhere.
For like a cheapie, I'm trying to find. We could go with Denny McPutts if you want at 67. Does that make it kind of right around 8K remaining? I think. Yeah,
that's not bad at all. Yeah, those two. I mean, you're basically the same thing. You got Homa and Scheffler solid. You got Denny and Cam Davis as bounce back spots, basically. And Denny's not even a bounce back spot. You're just playing the low owned angle for him to kind of continue his good play from a month ago. So I actually like that quite a bit. It's 2 upside guys, 2 solid with upside, and mix and match 2 more guys, and you're in good shape.
You could even punt one more time and get another stud in there. I think you could, if you go like down in that low 6K range, you should be able to get a mid high 9K guy, I think, still to round that out. So I think that's
probably what I would do. I would try to get one more 6K guy and get a 9K, 10K guy, whatever that leaves me with. And that would be a perfect build for me, I think. 2 really cheap guys, 2 kind of 1 mid, and 3 studs.
I think we just gave out the winner. Hopefully everybody doesn't dupe us, or I guess I hope everybody does dupe us, and we're all up at the top of the leaderboard sharing the money. You love to see it. I seen Bryce. He's giving away a free roll to the people in the RPS Discord as well again for his Thunderdome profits. So I mean, it's just happening all the time here around Pure Sports. So get in, join the movement, big things coming. Any final thoughts to you here, Drew, as we kind of round this thing out and let people get on their way?
Yeah, just real quick, let me just address 2 of those comments really fast. So I see Antonio asked about X really fast, Xander. He just didn't pop for me really leading into the event. And yesterday or today wasn't really great anyways. Gained a little bit off the tee, lost a little bit on approach, but like the buckets across the board for me were not great. He had 5 shots inside of 20 feet, 5 shots inside of 25 feet, 3 shots inside of 15 feet. So just doesn't seem like he's at the ceiling point right now. So did hit a lot of fairways, so you can count that as a positive. But yeah, for me, Xander I just can't prioritize Xander at 9,800 when I would rather spend up to get anybody. Rahm, Scheffler, Hovland we talked about. So that's that. The others, if you go back through this, we're going to end the show, but we did talk about Connors and Thigala and stuff like that as well. So you can go back and replay it just for sake of time with a short field. You guys can do it. I have trust in you. So no final thoughts, man. I think I want the golf course to firm up. I want the golf course to get a little bit tougher. I don't want Rory to win. That's just my personal bias. Sorry, Wiley, if you're listening. And I want all the 9K guys to just gravitate towards the lead. That's what I want. So yeah, firm up the golf course, please. Get Rory out of there.
I'm right there with you. I hope things definitely firm up. I was looking forward to a tougher test of golf this week is what I was hoping for. So hopefully we can get that over the weekend. And rounds 2 through 4, things can kind of round into shape and get tougher here. But I think that's going to do it for us tonight. If you haven't already, hit the like, subscribe on your way out. We appreciate you guys for watching. As always, for Drew, I'm Mitch. Always run pure.